Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Murray, and welcome to another episode of The Gift of Giving. Uh, I would like to start by wishing you all a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and a wonderful Kwanzaa. It's certainly that time of the year again. And for this episode, we are going to be interviewing the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Foundation. As you all know, our police force is with us 24/7, 365 days a year, and the sacrifices they and their families make is terrific. And what people do not know about is that not only are they out there as first responders, they're doing a lot in our community outreach to help and to give back. So, with that, I would like to welcome to our program Karen Marbin, Executive Director of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Foundation. Welcome, and could you please give us a brief overview of the organization and when it was founded?
Thank you so much, Stephen, for this wonderful opportunity. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Foundation is a 501c3, an independent nonprofit that was founded just over 25 years ago initially. It's really been in the last dozen years or so that it really has grown to be a really impactful nonprofit here in Southern Nevada. Our work is really all about supporting our local law enforcement agency, Metro, LVMPD, in three areas of community engagement, officer training, and equipment and technology. And through raising philanthropic funds, we're able to provide really critical resources that are not covered in the county budget in order to do these extra initiatives that end up making our community the safest community in the world.
And there's a lot of programs that you are involved in. We're going to get into that in another segment. But firstly, what was the catalyst that made you get involved in the foundation itself?
So my whole entire career, really, I've been in education and the nonprofit space. And just prior to joining the foundation, just over a year ago, I was with Goodwill of Southern Nevada. I was the first Chief Mission Services Officer and was brought in to really start new initiatives around workforce development. And after about 3.5 years of being there, I got a call from a recruiter about this other opportunity and wasn't very interested at first. But really, when I researched the position and met some of the board members, really became inspired about the work being done, sort of the best kept secret, I think, around Las Vegas of what the LVMPD Foundation is all about. For me, it's a little personal. My husband retired after 38 years in law enforcement, and our son is a police officer in Minnesota. And so family ties to law enforcement and really understanding like what the organization needed, and I think my strengths. I said, I've got to do this. This is the next step in my career.
There you go. Good for you. Well, you made it to executive director, so you certainly got to the top. Now, you mentioned about the three pillars of the organization: technology, training, and community outreach. We're going to see a video of the community outreach and the technology. But would you like to discuss a little bit about the training and the Jetty program?
The officer training pillar of the three that we are really focused on, I think, is unique to our foundation, and it really aligns with Sheriff Kevin McMahill's vision to ensure that our officers are the best trained police agency in the world. And so with the equipment side of it, the foundation is able to raise private philanthropic funding in order to leverage, I think, some of the latest in technology. So we know that the county budgeting process moves way more slowly than the speed of crime and crime trends. And so we at the foundation are able to provide some of that funding to invest in maybe the latest and greatest technology resources. So a couple of years ago, it was flock cameras that are being really successful in helping us solve crimes, or helping Metro solve crimes at a clip of more than 92% solve rate. And that is an integrated camera system with license plate readers. One of the latest initiatives around technology is the drone as first responders. And so we're able to help sort of prove out that technology, and at the end, enable the police officers to be more prepared as to when they're going into a harrowing situation. They can see that live video ahead of when they get in there.
That sounds amazing. We have a video of this technology that you're talking about, and the community outreach program. Let's have a look at this video.
LVMPD Foundation is a separate entity from the police department, and they are a group that works with members of the community that want to come in and make this community more safe. They've done everything from building a $30 million reality-based training center to taking a lot of the funds to improve our 911 center. The list goes on, and the foundation does a wonderful job with raising funds to achieve the vision that I have in so many different aspects of our organization.
The LVMPD Foundation has 3 pillars of support where we provide monetary support to Metro in the areas of community engagement, officer training, and equipment and technology.
The number one reason that I'm trying to utilize this technology effectively and expand it is the safety of our community and the safety of my officers. Some of the technology that allows us to have far more information before we ever arrive at the scene, reducing the amount of likelihood that we have an officer-involved shooting or an injury to a citizen or a suspect or even an officer, utilizing that technology in a way that makes it safer across the board for the community.
You know, I've been affiliated with law enforcement for many years, and community engagement here at Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department is done differently. It's all focused on compelling relationships with the neighbors in those neighborhoods that are being served by our COP team.
I think it helps us build trust with the community, and we're injecting humanity into the community. It transcends typical policing. It's not just about responding on crimes and putting handcuffs on bad guys. Ideally, we're very good at solving these crimes, but we'd rather they not happen to begin with.
We're trying to bridge that gap between the community and law enforcement. So for us, it gives us a nice relationship with them. They see us in a different light.
You know, we have a couple formal programs that are specifically for young children that are starting to make some bad decisions, and we're able to intervene on that. And we have seen success story after success story because we're engaged with them.
Dream, it's opportunity for they showing me ways how to navigate through life. It's a blessing to be here at the same time because it help you. It show you more ways. You talk to people. I mean, you see other things, stuff like that. Hopes I see a better future. You know, provide for myself and my family.
Again, it's one Vegas strong community, and when we're all behind that child will be successful.
Boy, that gives a lot of what is going on, certainly in your community outreach and with the technology. And it truly is amazing what technology can do now. Just amazing. In the community outreach, I was particularly struck by your DREAM program. Discover, Redirect, Empower, Advocate, Mentor. What a beautiful acronym. Would you like to talk a little bit about that? I know they discussed it there, but how are you made aware of these children, and do you need to get parents' permission to put them in this program? Share with us a little bit, if you will.
The DREAM program, it's one of my favorites. It's a very intensive program over about 13 weeks where our officers are working directly with youth from 12 to 17 years old. And these youth would be considered at risk. They might be heading down a bad path. And so some of them come to us at the recommendation of a school leader, might be a school principal or a teacher. Others, it might be that the child has been in the juvenile detention system, and a judge might say, hey, this program might make a difference. Sometimes it's the officers themselves working out in the community and really finding a kid that, hey, we just need to help you with a hand up and sort of redirect your behavior. And so the DREAM program is twice a week over the course of about a dozen weeks, where the officers are working with other community partners and the kids directly to help them really envision a better and different trajectory for their lives. So they do need parent permission. We want to make sure that the parents understand the commitment that that they're making to get the
Sure.
help the kids with transportation to get to the dream sessions twice a week, but also that they play a role in helping to get the kid on a brand new and really brighter path for their future.
What kind of success rate have you had with this program, Karen? Because it is intense in 13 weeks. I mean, keeping kids' attention 13 weeks, I mean, that's no small feat.
And keep in mind that for the most part, these are kids that probably come in that first day thinking that they don't like police officers very well, right?
No,
And so the success rates of the kids in Dream it's probably too early to have a long trajectory of, what has this
Yes.
been? Because the program's only been around for about 3 years in 3 of the area commands. But because of the tremendous success we were seeing, we actually expanded it to valley-wide. So this is the first year, this fall is the first session that we're doing, one in the east and one in the
Gotcha.
west, where we're serving many, many more students than just in the 3 area commands. But we are seeing, an example I'll give you is a young girl, 16 years old, who went through the DREAM program last spring, and she graduated, and she spoke at one of our events last spring, and she really was struck by the fact that, and very proud that she had the cell phone numbers of 6 different police officers in her phone.
Oh.
And one of those officers, she said, I consider him my very best friend, that she had never viewed the officer as a human being. And she talked about what she learned about him, that he had lost a partner in a line of duty death, that he had lost a sibling to mental illness and suicide. And so this girl really learned so much about that officer. She saw him in a totally new light, and then built that trust with him to really trust that he was helping her make better decisions. And so those are the programs that I love the most,
Yes.
because they are serving fewer people, but in a really deep way.
A meaningful way.
So Dream is one of our many more intensive programs that we're running, and probably one that I'm most excited about.
Probably one of the most rewarding too.
For sure.
On that note, we're just going to take a brief sponsorship break. Please stay with us, folks. We're going to be right back.
Country roads take me home to the place where I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Here comes a triple yodel.
Welcome back, everyone, and welcome back, Karen. Thank you for taking time out from your busy day to be with us today to talk about LVMPD F. Let's talk about some of your other programs that you fund in the foundation, because there's a huge number there. When I looked, it was overwhelming. There's 22 programs, and some of them you even have, like the area commands, you've got 12 sub-programs within that one program. So that's a lot of outreach. So I'd like to talk about some of the others, if I may. Apart from the DREAM program, which I really like, looks like you have several flagship events throughout the year. You know, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Santa, back to school things. Would you like to talk about some of those events and how often you have them? And
Yeah, Stephen, our flagship events, some of them serve thousands and thousands of people. And for those, I really I sort of call them our gateway events. Oftentimes that will be like Halloween, where 5,000, 6,000 families are coming out to celebrate Halloween in a safe place, along with officers and other community partners. And that might be a great positive interaction with a law enforcement officer that then enables them to think, when they're maybe selected to be part of the DREAM program, they hearken back to, hey, I remember those officers were playing basketball with me, or we're doing, handing out candy on Halloween. And so we just finished up our Santa Cops and Shop with a Cop events in December. And those are very rewarding. For those events, we serve over 400 low-income kids who are personally hand-selected by the officers in the area commands in maybe the apartment complexes that they know have a high rate of crime or maybe high rates of poverty. And so we are able to raise money and then provide gift cards for those students to shop along with a cop for their holidays. And those experiences are so touching because oftentimes those kids are thinking about buying for their siblings or their parents, even though like we want to make sure that they take care of themselves too.
Yes.
And so the officers have the opportunity for those, maybe 20, 30 minutes of shopping time. It's one-on-one. They're probably making an impact on that kid's life that maybe a decade from now, that kid's going to think back. I
They'll
remember
remember.
what that officer taught me.
They
so
will.
the holiday events are one of my favorite. And in true Vegas style, LVMPD brings in Santa for one of the Shop with the Cop events on the LVMPD helicopter.
Oh,
And so it's very
nice.
special for those kids and those family members
Yes.
to be able to experience
Oh,
that.
for sure. Now, do these officers, when you say they go into these complexes and they report back and say these people need it, and they go out and do the shop with a cop, is that on their own time or is that part of their?
That's a good question. And I had this last year was my first event, and I thought that the officers who are all in uniform, that this was in their work hours. They are all volunteering. And we have so many officers on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. that they have to show up for the holiday shopping events. And they love it. It's probably for many of them one of the favorite things that they do each year. So it's all volunteer.
Wow. We do have an amazing police force here, first responders. And last week we had on the Forever One Memorial, and we were talking about the first responders and how the police force came forth then. Now you also, you've selected a few sports programs that you fund as well. And so you've got the Bolden Little League and the Bolden Football Club, Safe Neighborhood Basketball, Law Enforcement Athletic Club, hockey. Would you like to talk about some of these programs and the benefits and how these ones have been selected?
Yeah, so probably not surprising. A lot of police officers are very into physical fitness and activity and sports. And so they are really passionate about sharing that with especially underserved youth from underserved neighborhoods. And so those sporting initiatives are really important because, again, a different environment for kids to see officers in, like playing hockey along with them, playing basketball or football. And so our youth athletics that are part of our Office of Community Engagement, they get officers to come in and volunteer their time to mentor, to play sports with those kids. And it really starts to just chip away at what might have been a negative perception about law enforcement, to be like, hey, these officers really care about me as a kid. They care about whether I show up. They care about teaching me and coaching me. And so I think sports is a great, great way to do that.
So, so you don't necessarily fund these sports teams. It's the officers going out and volunteering, giving of their time.
But we do raise money.
Oh,
right?
you do
We
raise money for them as well.
So oftentimes with events like this, we have to provide the equipment, we have to provide snacks and beverages, and we just had a funder, a couple of funders who helped us raise money for a new hockey court surface that is in conjunction with a church and a couple of other nonprofits for us to be able to do our Saturday morning hockey leagues. And so those types of things, we're always looking for what is needed, how can the foundation help, and then to create a compelling case for support with outcomes that really make a difference.
Gotcha. And then in a slightly different area, you have Hispanic Outreach and Hispanic Citizens Police Academy. So you're reaching out, to other areas in the community. Would you like to talk a little bit about those?
So Sheriff McMahill has made it a real priority to make sure that overall LVMPD is building impactful relationships with anyone from what might be considered a marginalized area. And so the Hispanic Outreach, we have the Black Giving Circle, we have initiatives with the Center for the LGBTQ population. We just started an Asian American Pacific Islanders Alliance. And really, it's all about relationships with those folks who might have had either a non-existent relationship with law enforcement or a negative one. And so I really appreciate Sheriff McMahill's priority to say, we're going to really serve these populations differently.
Yes.
And so like on the Hispanic Citizens Police Academy, that is an in-depth program. We do one in English, and this one is largely in Spanish, but a group of Hispanics sort of volunteer, and it's over, I think, like a 3 or 4 month period where they get to see all aspects of how Metro works and experience that in such a way. And so we provide some of the funding that's needed, whether it is for meals or the graduation event and certificates and those kinds of things. That would be how the LVMPD Foundation shows up to help build those relationships for the various alliances.
Nice. Now, what about Women of Metro? They
Women of
get
Metro.
special category too.
Very special. So there, nationwide, there's been a big push for a few years. This called 30 by 30, and it is a goal for 30% of law enforcement officers to be women by the year 2030. I don't think that we're going to get there nationwide. We're doing okay, but not great in Southern Nevada. But Women of Metro is really an entity within LVMPD that really focuses on recruitment and sort of an affinity group, if you will, for female officers that are, being cops while at the same time being wives or partners or moms and grandmas in some cases. And how do you get all of that together? And so the Women of Metro, we do several initiatives with them throughout the year. Women of Metro also raises money for Child Haven, which is kids that might be in foster care or in between living arrangements, and they help make sure that those kids are taken care of in a special way.
Nice. Now what about the Metro Volunteer Program?
Metro Volunteer, we call it the MVP, Metro Volunteer Program, and the LVMPD Foundation supports them as well. They do a number of initiatives. When you go out in the community and you see the MVP volunteers in their bright yellow shirts, it just makes me so proud of how the community at Metro is using volunteers, as does the foundation. We use volunteers for a good number of our initiatives and events throughout the year, and it's a great way for somebody to just start to get involved. And so we love the MVP program and what they do.
Cool. Okay, we're going to take another little sponsorship break. Please stay with us. We're going to be right back.
Introducing Pacific Coast Capital, your partner in finance. We provide financing for your business. Speed, flexibility, and creativity are the foundation of our service. We'll help you navigate through change and opportunities. Our 90-plus years of experience ensures quick turnaround on loan decisions. Ride the wave to prosperity with us. Ready for new funding? Visit our website today at pacificcoastcap.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for being with us, and thank you, Karen, again for being with us in this program, sharing what the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Foundation is doing in our community. And it seems to me you guys are going way beyond. So let's start out this segment with the last of the community outreach programs that we have time to talk about, and there are others, but the important one is Jetty. Would you like to talk about Jetty program?
The Jetty stands for the Joint Emergency Training Institute, and this is a pillar of the training support that we provide to Metro. And so this was a $30 million initiative that was made possible 100% through philanthropic funding. The Jetty project was envisioned by our current sheriff, Kevin McMahill, after the 1 October mass casualty event. And Sheriff McMahill was really struck by, on the one hand, how many lives were saved and what went really well that day. But on the other hand, what might they have been able to do differently and better had there been training with multiple jurisdictions? So with Nevada State Patrol or UNLV police and first responders and fire and all of that. And so the Joint Emergency Training Institute project was envisioned back in 2018, and the first building opened in late 2022. It's in the far northeast side of the valley. This is where all of the LVMPD officers do their annual training and any special training for their regular job plus special events. But what's unique about it is we also have agreements in place with a number of the other entities, Clark County Fire and EMS and Nevada State Patrol, where they're able to train together in a reality-based training simulation scenario so that they really feel empowered. And so we continue to raise money for sponsorships for the Jetty. One story I will provide, actually sort of, it came full circle last December 6th of 2023. So a year ago, there was the mass shooting event at UNLV. This was a tragic
Yes.
day for our community. And the two of the LVMPD officers were arrived on scene after, when the shooting was still going on, and the fourth professor who had been shot was exiting Beam Hall and had been significantly injured. And those two officers took that professor and put him in the back of their squad, and drove a couple of minutes away to a safe zone where he could be treated by EMS. But in that time, they applied training that they had just received a few weeks prior at the Jetty. That's called Stop the Bleed training. And that training was made possible by our philanthropic supporter, the Engelstad Foundation and Touro University, who provided the training and the first aid kits for those officers to deploy that day. And it is absolutely believed that that training and that the officers had gone through saved the life of that fourth professor, who's still recovering
Wow.
today. And I think it just comes full circle of how important that training is, and
Yes.
how important that philanthropic funding really is.
Yeah, well, it certainly underscores it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Boy, that's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. Now I'd like to move on a little bit to volunteer opportunities. Do you welcome volunteers from outside of the police department, or is that one of the rites of passage that you have to have served in law enforcement?
Yeah. So just like I was singing the praises of the MVP program at Metro, we have our own, we use some of the MVP volunteers for our programs, but we also invite all the time people from the general public to apply and express their interest in being involved. And that can be anything from, maybe helping with check-in for one of our events, or helping with setup or tear down for an event. We do a number of initiatives throughout the year that volunteers are always welcome to do. And so many times, a lot of our funders who might be providing the funding for 500 Thanksgiving dinners for low-income families, they want to show up that day that we're doing the turkey dinner distribution and really experience what their funding has meant. And so same with the Shop with a Cop events that just happened. Those events oftentimes are available to the volunteers. Many times those are the funders that say, I want to see the kids. I want to see the expression on my face so I know what our money is going towards. And so we would love more volunteers to sign up and become involved in a variety of ways.
And I'm assuming they can sign up on the website, and we'll give out that information later. Now, how does the organization actually get funded?
Our organization is 100% funded by philanthropic funding. And so with that, it could be a general donation that somebody says, hey, I can give $10 a week or $10 a month or whatever, to some of our foundations and corporate partners that are able to give well in excess of, $100,000 for an event sponsorship or a particular program or things like that. And so what I want to make sure our funders understand is that I take their philanthropic funding really seriously. I look at it as an investment. They are making an investment in the LVMPD Foundation for us to do good work. And so we need to show them a return on that investment, right? It's normal business. And so I'm really committed to the return on investment and the measurement and success evaluations of our programming, so that we can go back to the donors to say, you provided funding for this, and look at how many people we have served. Just in 2023, last year, we served more than 109,000 people through the various community engagement events.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And some of them might have been at an Easter or a Halloween event and just had a brief interaction with an officer. And others would be, maybe they received a backpack full of school supplies hand delivered by an officer with a meaningful conversation, or the Dream program that we spoke about earlier. And so every one of those individuals that we serve counts as our metrics, but we really want to make sure, how do we make the deepest impact in the community?
Wow. Now, do you get much in the way of your funding? Does it come a lot from corporate donations? Small businesses and big businesses, chambers of commerce, things like that?
Small business, big business, foundations, and individuals. I think individuals are here in Vegas very supportive of Metro. I think we're blessed to have built the trust with how our how our police officers carry out their duties on a day-to-day basis, and people want to respond to that, and they want to
Yes.
support that. And so, oftentimes we get a lot of smaller donations from individuals that really do make a difference. But our big casino partners and foundations, we couldn't do this work without them. And so
No.
we've got 3 big events during the year that we take event sponsorships for, and that provides a lot of the fuel that we need for our community engagement events, but it doesn't cover all of it, and that's
No.
why that individual philanthropy is really important.
That helps out a lot. Now, also, you have a shop or an online store where people can buy merchandise. Now, is it online or is it a physical brick and mortar
Yeah.
place?
So the LVMPD store is full of merchandise. So it could be caps and T-shirts and various
I saw hoodies out there.
hoodies. Oh my
There's
gosh,
a photograph
blankets.
album. Apparently, that's a big seller, the photograph album.
Yeah, there's a photo book from sort of a modern day look at policing that is available. And I think part of that is people are really proud to be associated with Metro. And so to get a T-shirt that says LVMPD, people wear that proudly. And I do think that's unique, somewhat unique to our agency and how well respected law enforcement is here. But some of those merchandise sales, Challenge Coins is another big seller for
Yes.
us. We are now partnering with folks like the Mob Museum, where they have a few items from our merchandise catalog for sale at the Mob Museum, because we know that people that are interested in history, the history of the mob, are also likely law enforcement supporters.
Yes.
And so we're looking to expand that in the future.
Nice. And actually, I've seen recently, all of a sudden, I don't know if it's a new item, I've suddenly started seeing a lot of caps with the LVMPD logo on. And I haven't seen them for a long time, but it's just seems to be popping up all over the place recently. So
Yeah.
you're doing a good job of getting it
People
out
love
there.
the swag. They love the swag.
So, okay. Before you leave, Karen, please share with our viewers your website information, email, phone number, how people can reach out to you and learn more about your website. And it is a comprehensive website. I'm going to tell our viewers now. So would you like to share the information?
Thank you so
please?
much. Our website is lvmpdfoundation.org. lvmpdfoundation.org, and there you can sign up to be a volunteer, sign up for our newsletter communications, and just learn more about the various programs that the foundation supports.
Thank you again, Karen, for being with us, taking time from your very busy schedule. It's a pleasure having you on this program, sharing with us what the police department does, giving back to the community, apart from keeping us safe, and the families, the sacrifices their families make too.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And I'd also like to thank John Stiles, the show's producer and station owner of WWDBTV. And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for tuning in today. If any of you would like to get involved with the LVMPDF, please reach out or share this program with other people that you think might be interested in either volunteering or getting some of their merchandise. Great opportunities, and learn more about how our first responders are also giving back to the community. Certainly, I would like to thank our sponsors this year, Pacific Coast Capital, Priority Wealth Partners, the Firelight Barn, and RJ Champion. You'll hear his message at the end of this program. If you have any questions or comments about this program or any organizations you would like to see represented, please reach out to me, Stephen at thegiftofgiving.vegas. And since this is the last show of the year, I'd like to wish you all a happy and healthy new year. May we have love, joy, and peace in 2025. Please stay safe, be kind to one another, and hopefully we'll see you next week in the new year. Bye for now.
Mr. RJ Champion is proud to sponsor WWDB-TV's series, The Gift of Giving, and wishes the program much success. Congratulations and gratitude to the featured guests and the organizations they represent. Our community is well served by your tireless efforts to make Nevada a better state for all its residents.